That's Mousey with Home Alone from her upcoming album, The Dreams of Our Mother's Mothers. This third album from the Christchurch-based artist features 8 very personal songs that address family dynamics, identity, and breaking generational cycles. Mousey, along with her 2-year-old son and husband, were in Auckland recently, and so stopped by the studio to talk about the new record and to tell us why they're visiting the City of Sails.
I'm a part of the Exploding Rainbow Orchestra, so I just had to bring a song, which is from the album that we're going to be talking about.
Right.
They said you can write your own, but I thought, well, I've got an album coming out in 2 weeks, so I may as well use one of those.
Yep.
So I'm performing, well, this will come out after then, a song called Island of Hope off the record.
Right.
And it's backed by an orchestra.
Okay.
So it's kind of
appropriate.
It could be a once in a lifetime opportunity to do that.
Yeah.
It sounds awesome.
Well, we're here to talk about the album, which is The Dreams of Our Mother's Mothers. And so Island of Hope is the song that is on that album that is coming out soon. So tell me about the song a little bit.
It's split into 2 parts. To be honest, mainly because of how it looks on the track listing, I thought it was quite cool to have 2 parts.
Okay.
And also for playlisting purposes, because the second part is quite, like, it really kicks in, and the first part is very slow. So I thought, maybe some people in the modern age don't have the attention span to listen to the whole thing, so let's split it up. That song, I don't know how much detail to go into with any of these because they're so personal, but...
Yeah, well, that's up to you because I don't want to push... I was telling you, I had John Toogood up here the other day from She Had, and his has this very personal album. And at the end of the conversation, we talked about, he's been doing all these interviews and it's all very, we don't want to make it worse.
Yeah, like feeling like you overshared in a conversation that's not recorded already feels bad enough. But when you walk away from an interview and you feel like you've overshared and you're thinking, oh, that's coming out online forever. That's something else.
So with that in mind.
With that in mind, I guess it's just, a song through the perspective of when I was 13. And just something that I was going through at that time. And I mean, on a surface level, I really do like swimming, and I like the fact, like I like doing exercise in the water so I don't feel like my body is gross.
Right.
Yeah? When you get sweaty in the water, it just comes off you. I feel like I never get tired when I'm in the water.
Okay.
If you asked me to go for a run, then I'd get very tired and not want to do it, and I'd probably give up, but I could play in the ocean for hours.
Okay.
Yep, so I'm a water person.
On
it, for a surface level, there it is. There's a deeper meaning though.
Okay, all right. And so when did the album, this is your 3rd album.
Yes, it is.
When did this one start coming together for you?
Well, when I'd given birth to my son, I thought...
By the way, we just met.
Yeah.
He's awesome.
Running around in circles. Doing laps. He's a real dude. He's a real car guy. He just loves putting cars in trucks and just all the boy things. Anyway, when I gave birth to him, I thought, wow, I really should record a song, which was just so... stupid. Anyway, I called up Will, who I'd actually never met, Will McGillivray, who's Goodwill. And I just said, hey, do you want to do something? And he said, yeah, I actually would really love to. So then we started to record this song, and then he said, oh, actually, you played the song at a show that I went to. Can we do this one as well? And then slowly, it just turned into an EP. Mm-hmm. And then we're like, well, so we're doing an EP, let's just do an album. So we actually we worked on quite a few songs that didn't make it as well.
Right.
It's a really small album, but I like it. Like, it's very chosen. Like, it is...
So when you say chosen, what caused you to choose those songs as opposed to the other ones?
Intuition.
Okay.
I cannot describe it any other way because
there's
the cohesiveness in everything that I've ever done. Like, I think it's something that only really makes sense to me, and that's important to me.
Right.
Doesn't exactly, it might not make sense to other people, and it might not feel finished to other people. I don't even know if it feels finished myself, but I'm very I was very harsh with this one. I wanted it to feel very tight and concise to myself.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what were the sessions? How did you and Will work together on what kind of roles did each of you take on?
Well, he's a very talented producer, but he also plays everything, and I'm a bit musical myself, so we did share the playing, but to be honest, he did a lot of it because I was just in another world. I was a new mum. I had postpartum depression. I was like really going through it. I had my gallbladder taken out.
Oh my God.
I had pregnancy-induced celiac disease that I didn't know, so I was very sick, and we didn't know why. So I was going through a lot, sleep deprivation. So he really pulled me through this whole thing. He even did the album art. Like he.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's cool.
So he really did pull me through this one because I needed it.
Yeah.
Like doing this when you're a new mum is crazy.
Yep.
So like I really needed him, and he was just happy to do it. Didn't resent me at all for it. He's just happy to be there. So so in terms of how we work together, I definitely do the writing. That's very much me.
Right.
And then obviously the singing, and then we kind of shared guitar and everything else. But I think there's not many drums in this record. All my other two records, they're very band sounding.
Right.
It's like, that sound of like getting a band in a room, and everyone those roles are always present, and that was something that we thought, okay, we don't want to do that anymore, and we have to fight the urge to just have those roles of like drums, bass, guitar, and all those members present, even though we didn't have anyone playing those instruments. We were just doing it track by track, sharing the roles between each other, I think. And then so that was a very purposeful part of the process, was to try and resist that classic band format. So we can use our imagination a little bit.
Why not? Now you have a video out for the song Home Alone.
Yes.
So let's discuss that one, because that's one that folks will have seen and heard already.
That song, it's so blunt in the first verse especially, so I don't really feel like I need to talk about the subject. So
that's all right.
I also don't want to incriminate myself.
Okay. No.
But anyway, the video Robin Jordan did from Christchurch crew. I again just using my intuition. I feel very lazy. I rely on my intuition, so I don't have to think very much about anything on purpose. I just go.
Well, you probably got a lot of other things on your mind, it sounds like. You have a 2-year-old running around.
Exactly.
It'll take a lot of space up.
Oh my goodness. Yeah. I just used my intuition, and I thought up the video, and kind of I feel like only I have the keys to know what like makes sense to me. So very involved in that process as well.
So do you think visually when you're writing the songs?
I wish. I feel like visuals and social media and everything, that's like the furthest thing from my mind. And I think it should be more forward in my mind because of how important it is. And it's something that I want to get better at over time. But it's at
in
the
your
moment,
spare time, you can do that.
Over time. I've got my whole life ahead of me.
So tell me about, what do you want people to get out of listening to this album? It sounds like you've given it a lot of thought. I'm assuming the track listing is important, how they begin, from beginning to end. So what do you think people will come away with?
I guess, I don't like to be preachy. I hope that people just enjoy it if they enjoy it, you know. I hope that the people that have gone through the kind of things that I mention in the album, or are going through, just feel like not alone. And that sounds so cheesy, but I think you can feel like a really bad person if you're going through like family estrangement, and often the kid gets blamed a lot, and the parents don't have to take responsibility. I think that is just how people that haven't gone through it like really see it. So it's either, oh, why don't you talk to your parents? Which, you know, I don't want to overshare my situation, but, or it's, what did you do that was so bad,
right.
you know? And it's like, actually, neither of those things. Like, I know there are people that have gone through this in my inner circle, and some of the things their parents have done is just, it's so bad. But then without having the voice to tell their story, or the assumption is that it's the kid's fault. But I don't know. I think everyone talks about the parent-child bond.
Right.
But it's not the same on both sides. The child bond to the parent looks very, very different to the parent bond to the child.
Right.
Yeah, that's
Yep.
that's I think something that I have.
And it's also different between the father and the child, especially depending if it's a son or a daughter, and daughter, and mother and son, or it's very complicated.
Yeah, I think the child always. I mean, this is a very general statement, but I think the child always really cares and longs for that love from their parents. And I don't think that it's as common the other way around, if I'm being honest. I think there's a lot of parents that ditch their kids and don't feel bad about it. Yeah, heavy stuff.
That is heavy, but that's all right. And so what even heavier is the fact that you do have a 2-year-old, and you're kind of writing and singing about this stuff and going through this stuff at the same time. So
it definitely is anxiety provoking, just like what I've gone through. And I think our generation is, like a lot of people in our generation, obviously not the whole generation, but I think we are being quite purposeful with our parenting, and we're thinking about how our actions are influencing our children and how that's going to result in, you know, things in the future. Whereas wasn't around like in the 80s, but I feel like it was like, you're fed, you've got water, you're at school, bam, job well done, you know?
I can vouch for that. I was a parent in the 80s, so there you go.
Yeah, there's a lot.
It's
I
like,
don't know.
what else do you want?
Exactly. And now there's like new, you know, science coming out all the time of like, you know, just, children with different environments and the patterns that we see with like success and mental wellness and things.
So once the album is out, people are going to hear it, and they're going to read into the songs, take away from whatever what is important to them based on their experiences. And you're probably going to meet up with a bunch of them, because I assume you're going to be doing some shows and stuff. So.
I will, I'm going to be doing some shows. Christchurch, Wellington, and Auckland. So a very limited tour, just because I don't want to actually be away from my son that long.
Yep.
So sorry, Dunedin. I feel bad about it, but in November. So Christchurch is November 16th, and then Wellington is the 22nd, and then Auckland is the 23rd.
Right.
So I'm hoping that it's just kind of a bit of a fun and interesting show to come to, and it's not going to be like super draining and serious.
Right.
Yeah.
So are you looking forward to or dreading meeting people who want to talk to you about this stuff?
No, I mean, I hope that people feel heard. And I was surprised when the Home Alone video came out. It's got upwards of like 22,000 views on YouTube, which I was really surprised about. And the comments, people asked, you know, like they're understanding what it is about, and they're saying, you know, that hits really hard, like for them. But I think I wish that no one would live in isolation of their experiences, you know. Okay.
And the show itself, is it solo, or you got a band, or what are you going to do?
Yeah, band. Yep. So as much as I wanted to back away from those traditional roles, I am taking a band with me. Yeah.
It's got to be more fun that way anyway, right? You're not carrying the whole load yourself.
To be honest, I just didn't want to go through all the stress of having to arrange things another way, because that takes a lot. Yep. So we do have keyboard. We will be switching instruments a bit. Just because we do want that extra like sound design, I guess. So it's not just the standard, but we'll be a bit rock bandish.
Turn it up. Yeah. Good on you. All right. And are you thinking ahead how you're going to follow this with anything, or is it too much already?
Nah, I've already named my next project, whether it be an EP or album, and I know what that album cover is going to look like. I just need to write all the music.
Okay, that's just a minor detail there. I can't wait to hear it.
But that will be about like parenting my son.
Sure.
And I think that protective side, that like the fears and everything involved in that, trying to protect your child.
Very good. Alrighty, well, I think we got everything in there.
And I hope I didn't overshare.
Well, I don't think you did. I think because you want people to get an idea what's behind all this stuff.
That's been the hardest thing about this one. I really stretched myself to be as detailed in the songs as I could.
Yep.
And then you have to do interviews on top of it, and you go, well, no, I already talked about it when I
what
did
else
it.
do you need me to say? No.
And then I end up rambling on. I made something concise where I talked about it. And that's the song.
All righty. Well, good luck. What are you going to do on release day?
Probably chase around a toddler and might have some gluten-free cake.
There you go.
Woohoo!
Celebrate. Rock and roll.
Exactly.
All right. Well, thanks for sharing all this with me.
No
I really appreciate it, and enjoy the rest of your time up here in Auckland.
Yeah, we will. Thanks.
Say hi to everybody down in Christchurch.
Okay.
If you enjoyed this episode of the 13th Floor's Music Talk series, please be sure to subscribe to the website or to the YouTube channel. Follow us on Facebook or Instagram, and wherever you find your podcasts. There's a whole lot more to discover.